You've probably screamed at your TV that a call was rigged for the big team. Turns out, you might have been right. Cristiano Ronaldo has taken 73% of every penalty his club has won since he arrived in Saudi Arabia, but will the same penalty be called for the opposition? Messi, same superstar status, has had calls in favor for him and his team during the World Cup and the Champions League. If you're American and this is your first real look at football, don't worry, I'll walk you through everything so you're not lost. But if you already live and breathe this sport, you already know exactly what I'm about to show you. Because what happens on that pitch isn't always a game, sometimes it's a robbery, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to spot it every single time you watch, and what FIFA doesn't want you to know. Less than 0.4% of professional footballers will ever be nominated for a Ballon d'Or. It's the biggest individual award a player can get. But when you start looking at penalty decisions, disciplinary leniency, and the calls that get forgiven, that same sliver seems to be playing a completely different game to everyone else. 20 years ago, football belonged to Ronaldo Nazario, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Beckham and Thierry Henry. These players got similar attention compared to their peers who are not in the superstar limelight. Unless you did an obvious sin, then you will be crucified. So does FIFA, and the referees enforcing its laws, actually favor the best players in the world? Let's find out, because the numbers get uncomfortable fast. Start with Cristiano Ronaldo. Since joining Al Nassr, his club has been awarded 37 penalties. Ronaldo has taken 27 of them. That's 73% of every single penalty his team has won, going to one 40-year-old man. Now compare that to Messi at Inter Miami. Since he arrived in 2023, Miami have only been given 8 penalties in total, and Messi has taken just 2 of them. Same era, same level of global superstardom, completely different treatment from officials in 2 different leagues. So is it the player, or is it the league deciding who gets protected? During the round 32 of the FIFA World Cup featuring Cape Verde and Argentina, Messi got something I will say easy calls as fouls, where these would be brushed off if it was not normal Cape Verde player or let's say an Ivory Coast player. FIFA protects the players that makes them the most money in this case. 11 penalties given to the big teams. Only 1 given to their opponents, with experts saying it should have been 8. That's not a bad night for referees. That's a pattern. And it gets worse when you leave Europe and go global. Here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just a gut feeling. A 2020 study out of Norway's top football league had a panel of expert referees rewatch every potential penalty situation involving the league's 2 most successful teams across an entire season. The panel decided the big teams deserved 10 penalties. The match referees, in real time, awarded them 11. Over-awarded. Meanwhile, their opponents deserved 8 penalties by the same panel's judgment. They were given precisely 1. Not almost none. 1. It's a small sample, sure, but it's one of the only times anyone's actually measured this scientifically in football, and the result lines up exactly with what fans have been screaming at their TVs for decades. And it's not just a soccer thing either. Basketball researchers found the same pattern in the NBA. As a player's salary climbs, so does the number of fouls called in their favor. Stars got extra whistles. Role players didn't. Another study found NBA stars actually had fewer fouls called against them when playing at home compared to away, like the crowd itself was nudging the officials to protect their guy. If money and fame can bend a referee's whistle in basketball, why would football be immune? Honestly, if this is the first time you're hearing the receipts on this, you're going to want to see more topics about sports. That's exactly what this channel is going to be about. Subscribe now, because the next one might be about your favorite team or athlete. Anki. Now rewind the clock 20 years. This isn't a new complaint. Ronaldinho used to draw fouls just by shifting his hips, and defenders would get booked seemingly for existing near him. Zidane spent a whole career being one of the most fouled players on earth, and rarely got carded for retaliating, until the one time the world was actually watching in a World Cup final. And then there's the most infamous handball in football history, Thierry Henry, 2009, setting up the goal that sent France to the World Cup over Ireland completely unpunished, because the officiating tools of the time simply weren't built to catch it. Maradona's Hand of God in '86 is the same story with a different jersey. The biggest names in the sport have a long, well-documented history of getting away with things smaller names never would. But before we crown this as confirmed bias, there's a real counterargument. Big team favoritism has also been documented directly. Researchers studying Champions League and Europa League matches found that historically dominant clubs consistently picked up fewer yellow cards than their reputation-neutral opponents in comparable situations. But some of that gap might not be corruption, it might just be basic geometry. The best players spend more time with the ball inside the penalty area than anyone else on the pitch. Mbappe, Kane, Haaland, these are players who are simply in the box, in dangerous positions, in contact with defenders, far more often than an average winger ever will be. More proximity to goal naturally means more contact, more fouls won, and yes, more penalties. Some of what looks like favoritism might just be volume. There is an ongoing agenda on Argentina on X, where every call for them is pushed as FIFA rigging it for Messi. These posts get at least 50k likes and millions of impressions even for lies or soft fouls. Some fans around the world are mad why Messi and Argentina get calls in favor for them but not against them most of the time. Also, Portugal had a controversial goal stripped off against them due to technology emerging in football. Do you think if Portugal needed that goal in their favor, it would be cancelled? That's why I made this video to talk about this in our sports today. So which is it? A little bit of both, probably. The evidence says referees really do seem to give star players and star clubs the benefit of the doubt in 50-50 calls. The Norway study makes that hard to argue against. But it's also true that Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe and Kane didn't get to the top by being average. They get fouled more because they're genuinely harder to stop, and defenders panic and grab shirts that never needed grabbing in the first place. Maybe that's the real answer here. FIFA's laws are written to be equal for every player on the planet. But the humans enforcing them aren't machines, they're fans too, whether they'll admit it or not. And when the best player alive is running at you with the ball, even a referee's brain does the same thing yours does. It assumes something special is about to happen, and it reacts accordingly. So the next time you see a soft penalty given to the guy already holding 8 Ballon d'Ors, ask yourself the harder question. Is football actually rigged in favor of greatness? Or has greatness simply rigged the way we all watch the game, referees included?